Hello and welcome to the webinar on Social Squared. Before we begin, I just want to introduce you very quickly to Lightning Tools. So Lightning Tools is a company that provides many different tools and web parts for Microsoft SharePoint and also now Microsoft Teams. So we specialize in areas such as SharePoint permissions management, content aggregation, of course discussion forums, which we're going to be talking about today, a SharePoint list forms editor as well, so you can apply logic and layout to your existing SharePoint lists and libraries, as well as business data integration through the business connectivity services and data visualization as well through the chart and data viewer web parts. So my name is Brett Lonsdale and I've been in the SharePoint space for quite some time, ever since the release of SharePoint 2003, and during that time I've specialized in mostly business data integration, but also of course those areas that we've just talked about now in relation to Microsoft SharePoint. And Lightning Tools is a company that is now 12 years old, and the products that we provide are not just innovative, simple to use, perform well, backed by outstanding, knowledgeable and customer service, but also have been awarded by Rencore for our development best practices as well. So what we're going to talk about today is, first of all, the discussion forum example, so that everybody's on the same page as to what a discussion forum is. So in the within the Microsoft Office suite, we've got tools such as Yammer that we can use, and through Teams we've also got Conversations as well. And these tools are fantastic for really a sort of discussion thread that you might have that's ongoing. But the discussion forum is a little bit different. Rather than having a continual thread of announcements or updates from individuals that might be inside your team or organization wide, the discussion forums are more structured into forum groups and forums where questions can be posted and replies to those questions can be collected, marked as answered, voted for, and therefore over a period of time you're building a structured knowledge base where anybody with similar questions can basically perform a search to find answers to their questions that may be compelling enough to get them to move on inside the organization. So a good example of discussion forums is based on the internet. If you have a question, it could be anything. It could be something based in your home, so you want to look for a particular recipe. I've just come back from Ljubljana in Slovenia, and one of the things that I tried there is a glühwein, which is actually a white wine that tasted like apple strudel, and it was amazing. And the first thing I did when I got home was search how do I make a white wine glühwein that tastes like apple strudel, and sure enough, somebody has posted the same question before inside a forum, and there's multiple answers with different recipes. So there's an example of how we might be able to come across something like that on the internet for our personal requirements. Another example was just last week. There was an issue with Dynamics CRM following an update from Microsoft, and it meant that none of the searches were working through Dynamics CRM. So there was an error message. I searched on the error message, and sure enough, inside the Microsoft forums, somebody else has already asked the same question because they're experiencing the same issue, and there was about 65 responses to it of other companies having the same issue within, say, an hour, and there was a suggested answer which you can see here on the page, and I tried that suggested answer. It worked, and that was it. I was able to move forwards. So that can happen inside your organization. It can happen where somebody may have a compelling question about human resources or sales, or a technical question, anything really, and rather than just emailing one individual and asking the question, or verbally asking somebody within an office, and that reply or the conversation being between just two people, if you adopt the forum type structure, then that question could be posted and answers could be given. We can tell people that this is the suggested answer. So just like I did, out of those 65 replies, I tried the one that was a suggested answer, and that was the one that worked. and I was up and running very quickly following the reply. So like I said, that could happen inside your company as well. So this is not a continual thread of announcements where sometimes you come into the office and you have to scroll through a lot of noise to be able to get to the message that you want to see. With Social Squared, you can navigate to the appropriate forum group and open up the appropriate forum and look for questions that have been asked. And if you're a subject matter expert, you can also reply to those questions as well. And all of that is moderated and so on, as you'll see in just a moment. So, Social Squared is a structured discussion forum tool. It works inside SharePoint sites. Social Squared has been available for a long time now, based as a WSP for SharePoint on premises. So we've supported that product through SharePoint 2007, 2010, 2013, 2016 with the WSP. It's also been available as an add-in for SharePoint Online, but we now have the tool available under the SharePoint framework as a client-side web part, and that's what I'm going to be demonstrating to you today. So we can use that tool both inside SharePoint Online and also inside Microsoft Teams, which is what I'll show you. And you could also use it inside an Office 365 group site as well. So if you wanted to engage in team-based discussions through a forum group structure, you can do that in all three of those environments. And the features that it gives us, we have the searching, we have tagging. You can provide feedback to colleagues through likes and ratings and voting, and you also get rewards through badges for users' contributions. So if people mark posts as answered or anything like that, or provide feedback in any way, or create posts, then you will receive points, and points make badges. So that helps to encourage your team to get more involved within Social Squared throughout the organization. Okay, so with that, we're going to jump into a demo. So let's go in and first of all have a look at Social Squared inside SharePoint, which you can see here is running inside a modern site. And at the top here, I've also got Social Squared as an app, so I can basically go through and add Social Squared as an app to a tab inside of Teams, and that's loaded right here. So we can see the same content that we're seeing inside the Social Squared SharePoint team site. So if you want to post a question inside SharePoint, you can do so with Social Squared, or if you prefer Teams as a tool, then you can go into Teams and you can post questions or reply to questions through Social Squared for Microsoft Teams as well. So let's have a look at first of all inside of Social Squared. So as you can see, we've got this structure, and this is kind of based around marketing, just to give you the scenario. So we have conferences. Obviously, we as Lightning Tools do a lot of marketing through conferences. So we've got a few different forums inside the forum group of conferences. So there is a forum for European SharePoint Conference, which took place a couple of weeks ago in Copenhagen. Taking place this week is SharePoint Fest Chicago, and we've also got the SharePoint Conference North America coming up in May next year, and also in May next year is the European Collaboration Summit. So these are events that we as Lightning Tools are going to be exhibiting at, and so what we can do is go through and have discussions inside those forums about those events. And if we just navigate into the European SharePoint Conference, you can see in here there are two different topics that were created. I can see how many replies, how many views they've had, who the latest post was from, and also the average rating as well. So here's one about the Lightning Tools booth design. So if we go into the Lightning Tools booth design, you can see in here we've got the original sketch that we created for our booth. So gathering some feedback there. So what do you think to the new booth design for your ESPC 18? And we can see that there's a little bit of feedback there as well. And then we've got the final picture of what our booth looked like at that event. So some of the features that we've got in here is of course the ability to rate. So I can provide a rating to that entire thread. We've got the ability to also vote up or vote down. So this is something I can't vote up or down my own replies or posts, but I can do for other people. So here I can basically vote up Sandy's reply where she said that this looked great. I can also provide feedback to Sandy by clicking onto like to say that I liked her reply as well. So that's just a couple of features there that we have. You'll also notice that there is the mark as answered. So not really suitable to this kind of post because this is just gathering thoughts. But what I could do is if I asked a question such as receiving this error message when I'm trying to open up Microsoft Word, what does it mean? And if somebody replies with it means this, and that answered my question, I could then go through and mark that as answered, and that's going to provide that feedback to anybody else reading the thread as well. So if they experience the same error message, then they know exactly how to deal with it. And in order to make it possible to see those answers straight away, you can actually filter out everything that is marked as answered. So you can show the answered posts. Of course, none of them in here are marked as answered. So we can also do things like show featured or show the entire thread and so on as well. So as the person who created this post, I could delete it. I can also make it sticky. So if I feel that this is the most relevant post for this forum, then I can make that sticky, and that means that that post is going to stay at the top of the forum. So now when we go into the European SharePoint conference forum, you can see that the Lightning Tools booth design has taken first place now, and obviously that's going to stay there whilst it's been made sticky. We can also lock it. So maybe, I've covered everything that I need. The event is over. We don't need any more conversations about this. So I can basically click onto lock. So nobody else is going to be nobody else is going to be replying to this post anymore. I can also show a flat view or a threaded view, depending on how I want to read that. So the threaded view makes it more obvious as to whether I'm replying to a reply or whether I'm replying to the original post. So that's some of the features that we have inside the post. Of course, we can go through and reply to that. So I'm going to reply to myself here, but let's first of all unlock it so I can reply. So when we click onto reply, we get this message at the top where we can start our response. So as we click into there, you also get this nice little rich text editor, and you can change that rich text editor. There's 3 different styles that you can choose from depending on which one you want to use. So I'm just going to write a message. Just say this is a great conference, and we can go through and use things like the highlighter. We could also go through and obviously apply different fonts and styles of text. We can insert hyperlinks. We can also embed something as a quote, and we've also got the ability to insert images as well. And so we can also insert images as well. So as I paste in a URL to an image here, we can click onto OK, and we've also got the ability to style that image. So whether we want to have the text before and after, or we can also wrap text around the image, and we've also got the ability to go through and tag that image as well. So that's how we can basically go through and work with some of the content. And we can also tag it. So here, if I put ESPC18, anybody that wants to look for that tag can find it very quickly. So we'll hit reply, and that will go through and create that post as a response. Okay, so that's using it. And of course, if we want to go through and add a new topic, we can just click onto add new topic here. So that brings up a similar style to the reply. You can basically create your new content through there. We can also subscribe or unsubscribe. So if we are subscribed, then we're going to also get email notifications when somebody replies, and that will help us to obviously be engaged with the forum or with the topic. So you can go through and design your own forum groups. You need to be a SharePoint designer in order to be able to do that on the site. But as we go into the forum settings, you can see this is where we've got the conferences, the website, and also the social media. So it might be that I want to add a new forum group to discuss other parts of marketing, such as a brochure. So as I click onto add forum group, I'll add brochure as the title. So we now have a new forum group there. I can click onto view forums and add a new forum. So we'll put in the 2019 brochure, and we'll say this is a forum group to discuss the 2019 brochure, and we'll click onto add, and we now have that new forum group. We can go through and edit the order that forum group appears within inside the Social Squared forum. But if we just click onto close there, scroll down, so you can see without even a page refresh, we've now got the brochure forum group with the 2019 brochure forum, where people can start to get engaged inside that forum now. Okay, so we've also got a few other views down on the left hand side. So one of the view is the most popular topics. The more you get engaged with Social Squared, you're rewarded by seeing your topics appearing here. We've also got the most popular users as well, and you can see that ranking by the number of posts are created. And we've also got the tag cloud. So here you can see I've got the ESPC and also the ESPC 18 tag. So if I wanted to click onto that, that takes me straight to that post where we've tagged my reply with that tag. All of the settings for Social Squared can be set here, so you can go through and edit the settings for each forum or forum group. But if we put the site into edit mode, there's also a number of web part properties that we can set. So as we click onto edit web part, on the right hand side here we can see that we've got the title which corresponds to this. So if you don't want to have the label of Social Squared inside your environment, you could put something else like your company name forums. We can also choose from that rich text editor, so there's a few different styles there, and of course things like pagination and things like that you can control, whether or not you want to allow attachments to your posts, or if not, then sometimes it might be preferable that you're linking to a document that already lives inside a document library. You can set the maximum upload size if you are allowing attachments, and things like tagging and the badge rewards and things like that can also be set through here as well. Okay, so that is a quick tour of the Social Squared settings. The other thing I'll show you, if you're concerned about the look and feel, is one of the things you can do with SharePoint Modern is, of course, go through and change your look. So as we click on to change the look and choose a different design, so maybe we'll go with green. So we can choose green, and you'll see how that is reflected immediately throughout Social Squared as well, and not just through the site. And that's one of the benefits of using the SharePoint framework. Okay, so that's a quick tour of the product. We saw using that inside of SharePoint, and like I said, it can also be used inside Microsoft Teams as well. So if we just give Microsoft Teams a refresh here, you can see that we've now got the brochure forum group, and we've got our 2019 brochure forum. So we can navigate into that through Teams. We can add a new topic, such as the front cover. So we can write a bit of text there, tag it. So we'll tag it with brochure, and I can click on to add, and that post has been now created through Microsoft Teams. And if we go back to SharePoint, then of course we're going to see that same topic created. So there's the front cover by Brett on the 7th of December. Okay, so that is Social Squared. And you can get your hands on Social Squared as well. You can download it from our website, so lightningtools.com/download social-squared. Or if you want to request a demonstration environment, we can set up a site inside our tenant where you can go through and use it, get some feedback from your users, and see whether they're likely to use it or not. If there are any questions at all, then please feel free to email me on brett@lightningtools.com. Okay, many thanks.